We're entering separation time for the contenders and pretenders in Georgia, and the latest PBR Georgia Power 25 sets the stage for this crucial stretch. I'm Cory McCartney, joined by PBR Georgia Scouting Director Phil Kerber as we set the stage with his Week 5 rankings. Phil, welcome back in.
Thanks for having me, Cory. I'm excited to see how these next couple of weeks play out. There's going to be a lot of big series for these Power 25 teams.
Yeah, your top four remain the same. I mean, those powerhouses of Buford, Carrollton, North Oconee, Houston County. Some big tests, though, lie ahead for each of them. If you had to zero in, though, on one of those, which one do you believe is about to get the biggest test of all?
Yeah, you're leading off with the hard-hitting questions here. At first, I was going to say Carrollton because you're going to point to that game against Florence, but I think that series against Rome is a sleeper one. Rome's got some pieces there that could surprise Carrollton, but I'm going to go with North Oconee. They beat Flowery Branch yesterday, but that was kind of expected with Bubba Chandler on the mound. Every time he comes out, North Oconee's going to get a big time performance. Nathan Rohde was actually out at that game yesterday. I think, Chandler went 6 innings, 11 Ks, something like that, in the mid 90s. It's going to be tough to beat him when he's like that. But the second and third game of that series is going to be interesting because it will show us whether or not North Oconee's got depth. The Flowery Branch lineup's just full of bats, especially left-handed bats. So it'll be interesting to see if the pitching depth of North Oconee can work through that lineup for 2 more games.
Meanwhile, a pair of top 10 teams have gotten their grooves back. Number 6, Allatoona, number 10, North Paulding. This theme, though, of tough roads ahead, Allatoona is about to enter a gauntlet with the PBR High School Select, and North Paulding, they've got a big showdown coming up. They just beat North Cobb on Monday, but I mean, this is just the beginning for both of these teams.
Yeah, Allatoona, and I thought they were tested early in the season, but they just decided to heap it on a little bit more midway through by coming to the PBR High School Select. They're going to face Bob Jones, Florence out of Alabama. They'll have IMG Academy, and then a fourth opponent to be named. I mean, gosh, I can't imagine anybody's got a tougher schedule this week than Allatoona does. Not to mention that they played yesterday, picked up another win, and they play Wednesday. So that's, 5 or 6 games in the week. It'll be interesting to see how they navigate those games later on when, the pitching depth might be a little bit thinner. And North Paulding, it was a team that dropped some early in the season in our rankings. They, slipped up a little bit the second weekend of GDC, had some tough losses to some really highly ranked teams, but they've picked it up since then. They're 12-5 now. I think was like 7-1 since they were sitting at 5-4. So it looks like that they're rolling again, and that's a dangerous team. I thought early in the year that they had one of the strongest rosters. Things might not have clicked like they wanted to out of the gate, but it looks like they've put it back together.
Yeah, Allatoona coach Keith Hansen, by the way, headed toward a career milestone, win number 400 coming for him. That could be this weekend at Lake Point Sports. Phil, next up, Woodstock and Flowery Branch, a pair of teams that I know you've seen Woodstock in person, ready to make a move, and they're both led by some explosive offenses.
Yeah, the Woodstock offense got to see firsthand against Alpharetta, and that game was really interesting because they went down 6-1 in the first and then rattled off 12 straight runs. And I think that's just a testament to the team to keep your head in a game like that, because there's a lot of times it's easy to lose focus when you're down early big. But they rallied back and put up 13 runs, and then they've just been kind of on a roll lately. They squeaked by Etowah last week, but then had an impressive 8-0 win over Cherokee. That's a team we've seen in person, and they've got some good arms and good bats too. So they're a team that's going to be to watch this week, and to me, I think they're going to keep rolling and keep rising in the rankings. And then Flowery Branch was another team that's I thought was separating themselves, and they gave North Oconee yesterday, a tough challenge. I think they 6-3 losing that one, but they got 2 more shots at them, and I think they've got a good shot to pull off some upsets here. And playing North Oconee tight, they definitely deserve credit for that.
Finally, Phil, it's time we put some focus on the hottest team in the state in Franklin County. Winners of 14 in a row. How are the Lions getting it done?
Yeah, they're one of the hottest teams. I think it's the second longest winning streak in state, as far as I could tell. Buford holding the longest, and then Franklin County and Benedictine both at 14. But I mean, They dropped their opening game to Athens Christian 4-3, and since then have just been on a roll. They've scored 128 runs, only allowed 34 in 15 games, which that's just ridiculous. And they've only allowed 5 runs, once all season, and the offense has scored 7 or more in 11 games. You do that, I mean, you're going to win more times than not. And the interesting thing, looking at the team, is it's a lot of underclassmen. Lawson Gailey, Garrett Garner, just some really 22s, 23s, guys that are going to be there next year. So it's seeming that this success is going to be kind of something that they can build on.
Yeah, making some noise now, and it may not be over with all those youngsters contributing for them. He is Phil Kerber. I'm Cory McCartney, and we will do this again next week.